Peace and blessings, beloved. It's your sister Aisha and Rahman. Welcome back to my channel. I hope that you've been enjoying my Sierra Leone series. So I know in the last video I said that I was going to give you a step-by-step process on applying for citizenship in the next video. Well, I already made that video. I ended up making it ahead of time because a lot of you guys are getting ready to go to Sierra Leone in November, and I didn't want to wait until now to make that video. I want to give you as much time as possible. So this video, instead of that video, this video is going to be the 5 things that I wish I would have known before I went to Sierra Leone. There's not really a lot of things that I wish I would have known because I did my research. So that's what I do. I'm a librarian, also known as an information professional. So I'm always doing research. That's pretty much what I do, is research. So there weren't a lot of things that I did not know, but I will say 5 things that I wish I would have known before I went to Sierra Leone. So number 1, the first thing I wish I would have known is more Creole vocabulary. So I am gonna have another video of some of the basic Creole vocabulary that you're gonna need when you go to Sierra Leone. I won't say that you need. Everybody in Sierra Leone pretty much speaks English. A lot of people speak English. If you speak English, they can understand you. However, I believe that if you speak Creole, it will be a lot better in terms of communicating, in terms of bartering, in terms of building relationships with the people in Sierra Leone. You don't have to learn it and be fluent, but at least be able to communicate basic greetings and basic vocabulary words. So I'm gonna have another video where I share a list of vocabulary words or things that I think you should know, words that I think and phrases that you can say while you're in Sierra Leone. The second thing, which I think is very, very important, that I really wish I would have known before I went to Sierra Leone, was understanding the currency in Sierra Leone. So in Sierra Leone, the money is called leones, and we recently have new money. So this is what the old money looks like. So the value of the money hasn't changed, or the way that you count the money hasn't changed. Just the look of the money has changed. And I think this is with the intention to make it a little bit easier to count. Okay, so let's do it this way. This is 5,000 leones. Okay, that's the front, and that's the back. So the money itself just looks a little different. So that's 5,000 leones, and this is 10,000 leones. That's the front, and that is the back. So the most confusing thing for me was the denomination. So this is the lowest amount of money that they make for Sierra Leone. So this is 5,000 leones, or yeah, 5,000 leones. So this is roughly about maybe 35 cents in US dollars, maybe about 50 cents in leones, in Sierra Leone money. And then this is 10,000. So this is basically $1, or rather 75 US cents. So when you're counting your leones, it's kind of confusing oftentimes when you're counting, especially when you are counting change, because you're gonna get this back. You're gonna get leones back when you are buying things. Okay, so one example that I have is my room service. So my dinner that I got at the hotel. So my room service, my dinner was 230,000 leones, which is roughly, well, not roughly, but it's $19.15. So 230,000 leones is basically, I don't know how many of these. You're counting a lot of these. So that was very, very confusing for me to learn when someone said how much something was. So for example, I got my hair braided when I was in Sierra Leone. I think I paid 750,000 leones, which was, I believe, maybe 65, 70 US dollars. So it took me a very long time to get used to counting the money. So I think that by the time I was leaving, I was in Sierra Leone for 2 weeks. I think it took me 2 weeks to actually really understand leones and how they work, how to count them, how to give change, and really just understanding the value of what I was actually buying. So I highly suggest, I don't know, you can print fake money, you can practice giving change and practice money before you go to Sierra Leone is a suggestion. So that's one of the things I did with my kids when they were younger. I homeschooled my kids. I would print fake money and we would play store, and they would I would teach them how to buy things and how to give change. So you could actually do that before you go to Sierra Leone. The next thing that I really wish that I would have known before I went to Sierra Leone, as I mentioned, is the value of what I was buying and bartering. Once you understand the money, bartering will be easier for you. You'll feel more you will feel more confident. You'll feel more comfortable in terms of bartering, because you're gonna have to barter. Even if you don't want to barter, you're gonna have to barter. And one rule of thumb that I was taught is if someone gives you a price, you offer half of that and then barter from that point on. So from my experience, when it came to bartering, they did not want to give me a price. So I would say, oh, how much is this? And they would ask me, how much do you want to give me? And I think that that is because they know what you're going to offer is probably a lot more than what it's actually worth. So they'll say, well, how much do you have? Or how much can you afford? Or what is your budget? Or how much? So in Creole, it's almas. Almas. So it's very easy to understand Creole. It's a lot harder to speak Creole. And unless someone's speaking kind of fast, then it's a little bit harder to understand. But so after you learn the money, bartering. So someone says, you know, I want to buy this cup. And you're like, oh, how much is this? They'll say, how much do you want to give me? How much do you want to offer me? And if I say, $20, they're going to say, okay, yeah. That's how it started out for me. So I was like, oh, I'll give you $10. And they're like, okay. Because that thing probably really was not worth $10. Think it's worth $10, say $5, and then barter from that point. But usually they don't want to give you a price. So if they'll say, oh, I'll give it to you for $10, then offer $5. So counter by splitting it in half at first and then barter from there. So I'm really bad at bartering. I can't give you advice on bartering. I just know that you need to know how to barter when you go to Sierra Leone, because the majority of the things that you will buy, unless you're at the mall or, you know, at a restaurant, you're going to be bartering, because everyone has their own business, whether you're buying clothes, whether you're buying artwork, whether you're, even if you're shopping at the market and you're buying like coconuts, you need to have really good bartering skills. So the fourth thing on my list is, I wouldn't say this is necessarily a thing that you can know or thing that you wish. So for me, I didn't realize that health-wise, my body tends to swell when I travel. And I guess this is an international thing. It's a normal thing. You're in the cabin for several hours, you're gonna swell. So when I went to Ghana, that's the first time it happened. I thought, oh, it's just Ghana, it's the humidity. But it happened again when I went to Sierra Leone. And it happened, this time it was much, much worse. So I'll put a picture here and you guys can see my feet got so huge. My face was super puffy. Probably for the entire trip, people were like, drink more water, get more hydrated, you're not hydrated enough. I don't feel like I could have hydrated enough. I didn't feel dehydrated, but I just stayed puffy the whole entire time. It's like my rings and things wouldn't fit. So what I was told is to combat that, you can get compression socks. You can get compression socks, you can get compression leggings, you can get compression stockings. And then they're at like a different weight, I guess. So I didn't have them before I went to Sierra Leone, but I definitely have them now. So that's one thing, is if you tend to swell, and usually people who are a little bit already overweight, you're gonna swell even more. So that is one of the other things that I wish I would have known, is you wanna get up and you wanna walk, you wanna stay hydrated, so that you don't swell. So when you're flying and you're traveling, I know for me, I try not to eat too much. I don't want to go to the restroom a lot, but you actually want to drink as much as you can. Drink before your flight, drink on your flight, drink when you get there. You want to constantly stay hydrated, not only because of the humidity, but because of the cabin pressure, I guess. You will tend to swell from being on a flight. So I believe it took about 18 to 20 hours for my flight. And in between that time, I drank very little water because I did not want to have to use the restroom in the airport or on the airplane. that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Language, bartering, money, swelling, those are the 4 things. So I said 5. The 5th thing is you could possibly have is snacks. Some people brought snacks. I didn't bring snacks. I had an issue because I was trying to fast during Ramadan, and I wish I would have brought snacks. So if you're a picky eater, or you're gonna miss certain snacks that you may have at home, bring your own snacks, because there's not really per se snacks in Sierra Leone. There's a lot of fruit, and so that you could bring that for your snack, like chips or crackers or cookies, things like that you could have for a snack. But in Sierra Leone, if you're gonna snack, you're gonna snack on probably fruit. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. So language, money, health-wise, swelling, knowing how to barter, and bring your own snacks. Life is good. Have a blessed day.